Hey ladies, it's Executive Director Tiffany Wellinghoff, and today I want to give you a few tips on fundraisers. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about fundraisers, so I thought I would just give you some tips on how I handle fundraisers that might help you. So whether you're brand new or you've been doing this a long time, if you've never done a fundraiser, it can be a little bit scary at first, but once you do one, I feel like you get the hang of it, and then it's really fun to be able to offer them every month to your customers. And where I've really seen my business grow is that I consistently am offering fundraisers every single month. So I may not have a group that takes me up on it every single month, but I still continue to offer it every single month. So I wanted to start there. So there are 4 ways. I have my little cheat sheet just so I didn't forget anything for you guys. But there are 4 ways that you can offer a fundraiser, and I'm just going to kind of give you some tips on each. So the first way, and a very easy way, is to just do a fundraiser party. So you're going to do it just like you do any other home party or face-to-face party, whether it's at a restaurant, whether you get a room at your church, whatever you would do. Depending on the size of the group, pick your venue based on that. So if you know it's going to be a big group and a lot of people are going to want to come, you may want to get a room at your church or the gym at your church. So a party fundraiser, all you're doing is a standard regular 31 party. You can decide if you want to have a set time or if you want to do it open house style, but all orders collected from that party are going to be part of the fundraiser, and then you as the consultant get to determine what percentage of your commission you would like to give back to that fundraiser group or the individual that you're trying to raise money for. So the fundraiser party is the first idea. The second idea is just to do a catalog fundraiser. Now, depending on the size of your group is what is going to really determine this, unless the group wants to pay for the catalogs. I don't know how many catalogs you typically keep on hand. I have a lot on hand for the season, but I know if I have a group of 50 or 100, that's going to wipe out my catalog stash, and it's going to be pretty expensive because I'm probably not going to get any of those back, but the catalog fundraisers can be really worthwhile. The other thing you need to think about is when you do a catalog fundraiser where they're basically passing around catalogs and collecting orders, is you're relying on whoever is doing the fundraiser to calculate that tax and shipping and things like that. So that can be pretty tricky. I would say of the 4 ways, the catalog fundraiser is my least favorite because you have less control over the orders being calculated correctly and like I said, either spending the money on the catalogs or having the group take money out of what they would earn to pay for those catalogs. So that's number 2 is the catalog fundraiser. If you have a group of maybe like 10 or something, or 15, or a small group, it's not a big deal, and that would be a great way to do it. Okay, number 3 is the online fundraiser. Sometimes people will do a combination of number 2 and number 3 where they'll have catalogs for the group that they'll pass around, but then they'll also have an online fundraiser, which means you're setting up an online shopping link. They're sharing the online shopping link on Facebook in whatever group that they're representing. They're sharing it in private Facebook message. They may even ask you to set up a Facebook event where they can add people to it for the fundraiser so that you can post fun videos and pictures and ideas to help people shop. That's a great way to do a fundraiser because you have a little bit more control over what is shown, and all the orders are calculated online, which is even better. And in that case, you just want to make sure, especially if they're not local to you, that you have a representative where the entire party can ship to. If they're local to you, then you can have it shipped to yourself, and you can sort everything. But a lot of times with online fundraisers, people are paying that $4 direct ship fee, and all the orders are going to the individual people. And so the first 3 that I described, the party fundraiser, the catalog fundraiser, and the online fundraiser, in all 3 cases, you're going to decide what percentage of your commission that you're going to give back to the group. So the longer I've been doing this and the higher up I've gotten in 31, the more I've been able to give. As an executive director, the percentage that I make on my sales is a little bit higher than what a consultant would make, so I can afford to give a little bit more. So you have to do what you're comfortable with, and you also have to think about the group or the person that you're doing it for. You know, when one of my friends was diagnosed with cancer, for me it was not non-negotiable. I was doing the fundraiser for her, so I didn't want to make a single dime off of it, and I gave 100% of everything I made to her. But for other groups, as you're learning to build your fundraiser business, you might want to decide what that percentage would be out of your 25% if you're a consultant. Okay, so number 4 is a single product fundraiser, and one of my favorite ways to do it. But the reason I'm doing this video is because it takes a little bit of explanation. So the great thing about a single product fundraiser is you don't have to have an online shopping link. You don't have to have a catalog that you're passing around, and you don't have to get a ton of materials together, but I do put together a packet. So this is just the first page of my packet, and it just talks about, it says your fundraiser in a nutshell, and that's the first page of it, and it really just kind of walks them through not only the coach or the person who's heading up the fundraiser, but the individual players or the individual people who are doing the fundraiser. It's kind of like a one-page document that describes, here's what this fundraiser is going to look like. So that first page is just sort of your explanation page, and I realize this might be backwards for you guys. So that's my first page. The second page is an order form that I've come up with. It's pretty standard. Since it's a single product fundraiser, you're only dealing with one product. So all you have to deal with really are the patterns and the embroidery that they want. You don't have to worry too much about the item numbers because you're just dealing with a single product fundraiser. And then my third page is actually like my product feature page. In this case, this was from May or June, and I did the large utility totes. So I'm basically showing them a large one up here. This talks about the uses for the large utility tote, and on this side, it even talks about the measurements and things like that, and some of the product features. And then all the product patterns are down there at the bottom. And I do have a disclosure here on the bottom, and this is wording that was from CAGS, our Career and Guideline Support, in order to get it approved. So I will talk about that more in 1 second. And basically all that is actually talking about that these marketing materials were created by me as an independent consultant and not by 31. That's essentially what it is. But that wording is something that came from CAGS, and I'm happy to share that. The last 2 pages, our embroidery is awesome, and it can really help you sell more. So for the first page, I had the icons on, and then the second page, it has the thread colors and the different fonts, but it kind of walks them through. It says step 1, choose your icon design, and it does tell them that the icon is optional. Step 2 is to choose their font, and then step 3 would be to choose their thread color, and it kind of walks them through that. So back on that order form, it actually asks them for their name and email address, their phone number, the print choice or the fabric selection of the tote that they want, and then it asks them about the embroidery, and it'll ask for the font style and color, what they want on it, their name, initials, monogram, that kind of thing. And then if they want an icon, it asks for the style and color. And so one of the things I wanted to explain about the single product fundraiser, like why do you do that? Well, the group has an opportunity to make a certain dollar amount. They're guaranteed a certain dollar amount per tote, which is awesome. With the other fundraisers, there's no guarantee. They just get a percentage of whatever you make. And the really cool thing about a single product fundraiser, so why do you do it? I take a product that is already on special with 31. So in this case, the large utility tote was on special with 31. And so what you're going to do is you're going to sell one at the $35 price because that's the retail price of the large utility tote. And then you can get one on special for, at the time, it was $10. So they're basically getting 2 large utility totes for $45. With a single product fundraiser, you are selling it at the retail price. Another bit of wording that's on the bottom of one of the pages, it talks about the fact that the customers of the fundraiser are basically giving up the sale price in order to give that amount back to the group. So to make it not too confusing, essentially we're going to keep it super simple. I just told you you would basically get 2 large utility totes for $45. Well, if each customer is actually paying $35 each for their large utility totes, you're collecting $70, but the system, our back office, our virtual office, is only going to expect $45 plus the tax and shipping, which comes out to about $52. So you collect $70 for the 2 totes, but the system only expects $52. So you have $18 left. When you divide that by 2, you're making about $9 per tote. And I want to keep this super simple. Anytime you have a $35 product that automatically qualifies for the special, you're going to make about $9 at a minimum per item. So what I do to keep it super simple, I round that up to $10. I like a nice even dollar amount for my groups, and I'm willing to give them $9 per tote from the actual fundraiser, and then I give up $1 per tote out of my commission. So the great thing about a single product fundraiser is, since the item is on special, that is helping you give back to the organization, and you take very little out of your commission to give back. But for them, they look at it as they get $10 per tote. So if they sell 50, they get 500. If they sell 100, they get $1,000. And if you think about a team of maybe 10 soccer players or 10 gymnasts or 10 dancers or whatever, if each of those 10 dancers or gymnasts or soccer players or whatever sold 5 totes each, the group would make 500. If each of those 10 people sold 10 totes each, the group's going to make 1,000. And one of the groups that I did it with last fall that kind of started me on the single product fundraiser, I had done them in the past, but I saw it very successfully work for me with a cheerleading squad. And I had about 40 cheerleaders that I gave the packets out to, and I would say about half participated, somewhere between 20 and 22 participated. And I think it was a $3,000 to $4,000 fundraiser, and I got to hand them a check for over $1,500. So it was pretty cool. So just think about that way. When you do the single product fundraiser, it has to be a product that's on special. It's much easier mathematically to figure it out if it's a product that's $35 and that's the qualifier. If the products are less than $35, then I tend to shy away from it because there's a lot more math involved. So this is really a simple fundraiser. At the end of the day, you count up how many totes they sold, and you write them a check for $10 times the amount they sold. So it's really simple. So I love it. Hopefully that helps you guys. The only other thing you need to know about this is I actually have a local printing company in my area that does these for me pretty reasonable. So I tend to print these at my own cost, and that is some commission that I'm also giving up. But a lot of groups are willing to pay for the printing cost. So I had a gymnastics group of 70. They can pay for the printing costs, or if it's for a school district, sometimes the schools will even run them for you, or they'll at least pay you back, or they'll say to you, hey, take that out of whatever profits we make. So depending on what they say is how you can kind of judge that, and that would be even less out of your pocket. So I know this was kind of a long video, but hopefully it helps describe fundraisers a little bit better for you. Thanks, guys.